Hey guys, it is Monday here in West Virginia, and it's time for us to do our Mopar Monday. Finally got a couple of new items. I guess they're not very new. At least one of them isn't, but they're new for me, and I found them at Walmart, so they're fairly new. I was actually surprised to see new stock at our store being this soon after the holiday, and I was really surprised to find two six-packs of the new M2 cars in the display cases, and that hasn't happened in months. I guess we did get ones for I forget what the holiday was, Halloween, but I never got my hands on them. They went through there quicker than I could get to the store, so I hadn't seen any cars in the little cube display cases for what, 4 months, and finally over the weekend I scored some. I got a Chevy truck we'll be unboxing later on in the week, probably for free at Friday, and I got this guy here, the 69 Roadrunner, and it is a Hemi car, and this is a very unique orange. You don't see this too often on Mopars. It was, I think, a 69 only color. I don't think it was available any other year. It is kind of like a fluorescent orange red, little bit lighter than your Hemi red. I have a Dodge Daytona that actually is the same color as this car. Similar, I would say, but close. And anyways, I'm not sure what they call the color, but it does look really good with the white top and white interior, the black hood stripes and such. Pretty cool presentation with the box too, with all the Plymouth logos and the heart with the little devil tail on it. And these are limited to 9,000 pieces. There were new chases of this model in particular. And anyways, oh yeah, that's something else I found too, and I was really surprised. I found the chase of the set, of at least one of the sets that were there. It was the 32 Ford Roadster. It's black with a white top and all gold trim. We'll take a look at it too. And I'm passing it on to a friend of mine, so we won't be cracking it open, but we'll take a close-up look at it. Same thing with some of the Mopar trucks and such. I quit collecting the Mopar trucks due to the rear wheel opening. They still haven't fixed that yet. It looks bad, so I just kind of boycotted the Dodge truck from M2. So I won't be doing much on those anymore. They know about it, and they're still not doing nothing to fix it. So the Roadrunner, though, is still a nice looking casting. No issues with it. And it seems to be fairly true to scale when compared to other manufacturers of the same car, Greenlight being the one I'm talking about. But who knows? They're not guaranteeing their 1/64th scale all the time, and neither is M2. The only ones that do that is Auto World. So I just try to find a car that is similar to size and compare it with an Auto World. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look at him. And yeah, the backdrop behind the case is pretty cool. It's that cartoon Roadrunner with the rapid transit. I think it was a rapid transit picture. It says Roadrunner. I thought it was a rapid transit back there because of all the psychedelic colors and the way the car looks. And then on the back, it has the Plymouth Roadrunner beep beep, the smoke cloud running through the middle of the desert. That's pretty cool. So anyways, and here's the car. We'll wait a moment before taking it off the base. I forgot to bring my screwdriver. But yeah, I've already had it out of the case once and on display in my collection already. But yeah, it's a nice looking car. Opening hood, nice detail in the engine and such. Nice detail in the grille, bumper, marker lights and such. Roadrunner logo up here. Detailed door handles and locks. Like the wheel and tire combo. The color-coded steel rims with the little dog dish cap. I wish you were still using the metal cap instead of like putting the painted dot there, because you could see this one is off center and such. And it's disappointing because now these cars are like $8 a piece, 7 something plus tax. So it's a little over $8, I think, is what it comes to. But now they're slacking on the details. And I think they used to have red acrylic taillight lenses. Now they're painted, and not even painted that well either. That's going to need touched up. The logos on the deck lid still look good. Hemi, Roadrunner, and it's got just like the number printed over the chrome where the license plate would go. Opening doors, which before, as I said, I could take or leave them. Oh yeah, and they also had a mistake here that I touched up. The silver paint from the door handle, I guess, had run down here on the edge of the door. I didn't try to remove it with any kind of acetone or anything like that. I just wanted to cover it up just in case it started going through to the metal. So I just took an orange marker and went over it to kind of get it to blend a little better. You can still see where it's humped up a little bit. Now this side, they got the dog dish cap centered fairly well, but that one is way off. That one's not too bad, but yeah, just trying to spin the wheel around and see if it makes it any better, and it really don't. But yeah, as I said, with the increase in price, it looks like they would have kept all of the really nice details, like acrylic taillight lenses. Somebody else pointed that out on their 70 Super B, that the rear area where there used to be more detail, they didn't even paint it or something like that. So I don't know. That's why these newer releases of the Roadrunners and the 70 Super Bs, unless I find them at Walmart, I probably won't be picking them up, because you have to pay a few dollars more, like $10 to $15 each for them when you're buying them from an online hobby shop. Sometimes they include shipping when they're $15, but still yet, you're paying a premium for a car that's not the quality it used to be when it was only $6.84. So I don't know, just in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal, but still yet, like, it just looks like the quality would be a little bit better, since if they're going to cut cost and such and paint stuff on instead of using a chrome cap, now they're painting it on. Looks like they would at least try to make it center, and it looks like they would paint the entire tail light. Just my 2 cents on that one. Now another one, and it's also kind of crappy quality, was the John Wick Chapter 4, No Way Back, One Way Out, Plymouth Cuda, and it's a 71. They don't write the year, but it is a 71, as you can tell, with the guild fenders, the quad headlights, and such. But on the back of it, it just says John Wick Chapter 4, John Wick Chapter 4. The titular assassin finds himself on the run and hunted by a relentless army of fellow hitmen after a global contract is placed on his life. As he navigates a treacherous underworld filled with danger at every turn, John Wick seeks allies in unexpected places while uncovering dark secrets about the shadowy organization that controls the assassin's world. So, yeah, usually they don't even say that on the back of the package of these Greenlight Hollywood cars. So that's kind of cool. It gives you a little backstory on the movies, at least. So anyways, let's get this car out and take a look at it. Now, as usual, I've already cut around the back so it flips open like that. Now, when I first opened this car, I was like, it looks pretty good. But as I started looking at it, there were paint chips everywhere. Like on the wheel lips here, you could still probably see where I touched it up a little. It's not so great when you're up close on it. But from far away, you know, in a case, it looks okay. But, yeah, there was a chip here. There's chips here on the wheel opening. And then on the other side, same thing. I touched up a couple there. one there. As I said, they were all over the place around the wheel openings. I don't know what the deal was there. And then even one of the wheels, the passenger side, not passenger side, but the driver's side one was busted. The lip, a piece of the lip was busted out. And I ended up replacing the wheel. Luckily, I had an extra one laying around. I think this is the extra one because you could see where the chrome is kind of worn on the rim. And there's a couple imperfections on the tire. But anyways, yeah, I thought when I bought the car, I didn't see the nicks and the paint and the black spot on the edge of the rim. I thought was just a little piece of rubber hanging over. Sometimes that happens, but that was actually a piece of the rim broken off. And as I said, all the chips too was kind of disappointing. But overall, I mean, the car looks cool, but this is another one that's like $7 and such, and you don't I don't know, you don't get the quality like you used to with these cars. And trying to get the hood to open back up for you guys, but it keeps coming open and then it goes closed again. Oh, come on. I don't have anything to get it open either. But anyways, it does still open. It is an opening hood car. But I'm having a hard time getting... There we go. And it has narrower valve covers. It looks like a 440 car. I can't read anything on the air cleaner, but that's what it looks like as a 440. Or 383. Something like that. But overall, I mean, it's a cool car. I put it in my e-body collection. I'm have started a little e-body wall, kind of like the B-body wall that I have going on. The e-body one's nowhere near as big as my B-body wall, but it's growing. And plus with that, I have also A bodies and C bodies and F bodies kind of all combined together on the one wall area behind the junkyard diorama over where I used to have the dealership set up. But yeah, anyways, my B-body wall has overgrown, where I don't have any room on that back wall anymore because I had room for 9 cars side by side, and I could go 9 high. So there's a back wall of 81, and then I have side walls starting to happen on that shelf with B-bodies. I think there's like 115 or something like that over there, 105 or 115 total. And this guy will be going over there too in one of the little brick rod PVC plastic cases and such. But we have one last car for today, and that is this. It's an old release from Greenlight, and this one I also had issues with. Unfortunately, all my Mopars this week have had issues. This one I bought open from a seller on eBay. They claimed the car was mint. It was fresh blister pull, put in a display case, and that was it. But when I got it, it had little round circles all over the car. The outlines around circles from bubble wrap. And I don't know if you guys know, if you put bubble wrap on your car and you don't wrap it in tissue first and the bubble sides are down, it will leave an outline of bubbles all over the car, and they don't just rub off. I had to use rubbing compound to get the rings off, and then in certain light you can still see them some places, especially on the back here over the black line, because I couldn't rub out on it too hard because it'll rub the line off, or the stripe I should say. But yeah, there were little round circles everywhere. Yeah, you could still see a couple here and there on the door, but it was covered, and I rubbed out the whole car and got them off for the most part. But yeah, it's a cool car. This is one of the 68s I did not have. There's still a couple more 68s that I had to get. This one I don't know, some of their older releases, they painted under the hood black because they thought it gave it more detail. And for Mopars, it didn't. It took away from them because the Mopars should be body color. Now, the GMs and stuff, yeah, they should be black, but the Mopars, no, they should be body color. But anyways, not that bad. I don't open the hoods on them anyways when I display them. So another second gen B body to go in that big B body wall. So anyways, guys, that's it for our Mopar Monday today. I did get my customizing pieces in finally over the weekend. Unfortunately, though, because of the way they were handled by the USPS and customs, some of the items were broken. And then I also had some issues with the white walls coming off of the tires. But the seller, the guy that prints these, said he tried a new resin with the white walls and was having trouble. So he refunded the money on the white wall, so I couldn't do all of the wheel swaps I wanted. And the bases are the things that were damaged. Luckily, it was only wheels that were broken, so I was able to replace the wheels. And I went ahead and put them on the car and painted them and detailed them, which the paint job isn't that great, but we'll take a look at them in the week here. Maybe even tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll take a look at the 3 chassis I did and the wheel swaps I did on the dualies, because the dually wheels are really, really cool. And the bases are still pretty cool. Just unfortunately, I couldn't do all the wheel swaps with the wire spokes. I did a couple. We'll bring those out and show you too. But yeah, the issue with them was white walls were falling off. So anyways, we'll take a look at those over the next couple days or so. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy the start of your week.